Greetings, CBC. Welcome to this week's Sunday warm-up. Before we get into the text for this week, I think it's been just a little bit since I've reminded us of the purpose for this video. The reason that I started putting these videos together, which I think has been, I'd have to look it up, over a year and a half maybe now, where we're putting together what I've been calling Sunday warm-up videos, is to just do that, to warm up, to get ready for Sunday morning. So again, maybe you've heard me say this a lot, maybe it's the first time you've heard me say it. Let me just remind us again. Too often what I think happens is that we go to a Sunday morning worship time, we sit, we hear the word, maybe not have a Bible, kind of half-heartedly listen, and then often we'll leave and evaluate, critique, and say things like, I didn't get anything out of that. I'll never forget, literally, this happened a number of years ago, where two different people within minutes of each other had come in and said, hey, first one came in and said, I didn't get anything out of that message from the previous week. Literally minutes after that person told me that, the next person came in and said, I got so much out of that message last week, enjoyed it so much. In fact, after I listened to it, I watched it 3 more times and opened up a journal and showed me like 4 pages of notes that they had taken on it. Now, simple question. Why did the second person get so much more out of it than the first person? It's not because it was any better, it was the same message. The second person revealed that they had listened to the sermon a total of 4 times, took a bunch of notes, spent time studying and praying over the text. Why did the second person get so much more out of it? Because they put so much more into it. And that's what the purpose of this video is to help our church family, to give you all the resources I can, to give you all the notes ahead of time. I mean, I'm pretty much giving you everything that I have and that I'm going to be talking about for a Sunday morning, as far as the text, as far as what scriptures we're going to be looking at. So take advantage of that information and spend some time this week praying over the text, reading it slowly, read some commentary notes on it, take a look at some additional resources of Bible Hub, Bible Gateway, go compare translations. Certainly be praying about it. Write your own outline. Write some notes ahead of time. How would you shape a sermon? What if you showed up Sunday morning and they said, hey, you're going to be preaching on this passage from Luke? Well, I'm ready. I've got notes in my back pocket all ready to go. Get crazy. Go to bed early. Get up early. Come to church early. Sit in the sanctuary early. Read the passage again. Spend some time in prayer. Go to the prayer room before service. Put as much as we can into the study of this passage. Mark the passages ahead of time so that we are ready to roll and we have come prayed up and warmed up and we are ready to hear the word of God. Guarantee, no matter who you're listening to, no matter what kind of preacher, it's your style or not, you find the particular person preaching boring, you will get so much out of that message, and God will use that time to really move within your life, to grow you as a disciple and a follower of Jesus Christ. This week, we're going to look at two different passages in the next few chapters of the book of Luke. Got a kind of a short window of space of about a month and a half that I want to look at this section of Luke. And so this week, I want to look at 2 points, and they're going to come from 2 different passages from Luke. So for kind of a broad overview this week, read from Luke chapter 10, which we hit the first part of 10 last week, but go ahead and read from Luke 10 verse 1 all the way through chapter 14. So it's 4 chapters. I said all the way through as if it's a lot, but it's 4 chapters. Read Luke 10 through 14. We're reading through these sections of Luke leading up to Easter Sunday, which is coming quickly. So Luke 10 through 14. Here's the 2 areas I'll give you to kind of focus in on that we will be looking at this Sunday. We won't be covering all that is in Luke 10 to 14. That's just for us to get that kind of broad overview of the things that Jesus is teaching. Really paying attention, especially this week, I want to draw our attention to this again. As a follower of Christ, as a disciple of Christ, I'm looking at the words of Christ here. I want to see, what was it that Jesus was saying? What was Jesus teaching? Here's the 2 passages in particular that we're going to focus in. Point 1 of this week is going to come from Luke chapter 10, verses 38 to 42. So that'll be point 1 that we'll talk about. Luke chapter 10, verses 38 to 42. And then the second point is going to come from Luke chapter 14, verses 25 to 33. Again, point 2 is going to come from Luke chapter 14, verses 25 to 33. And then as we wrap up, I just want to talk a little bit about what the focus of CBC is. What are our, if I could bullet point for us, what is our vision? What are our goals? What is it that's important to us? And we're going to come back to that again. It's been a while since we've talked about that, but I think it's very fitting on this Sunday when we remember and celebrate our 40th anniversary as a church. So if you've hung in this long, let me remind you in the video that this Sundays we're going to celebrate our 40th anniversary as a church. So we'll have something as a part of each service, the first and the second service, where we have a little bit of time to recognize and to remember and celebrate the 40 years that we have had as a congregation. And then in between the services at 10:30. At 10:30, we're going to have an opportunity for all who want and can be there to all of us come together. We'll have a cake, we'll have a little bit of, just to get a little window of fellowship, but I'd like us all to come together, first service, second service, so we can be in the sanctuary at one time and have a time of prayer and just a recognition and a celebration together with all of us in-house together as we can. All right, that's everything for this week. We got a little bit of work before us. Take some time this week, carve out some space, make the time, put it on the calendar, say no to something this week so that we can say yes to the Word of God and some time prepping and getting ready. Invite somebody to join with you. See somebody from CBC, invite you to go do something. Say, sure, I'd love to do that with you, but first, let's read these passages in the book of Luke so that we can get ourselves ready to hear the Word of God on Sunday morning. And let's be praying together for our church, for the sermon, for the worship time, and all that's happening around our community right now. God bless you guys. Look forward to seeing you this Sunday.